show for me, I'm telling you. It's just great. It's just fantastic. I am going to encourage everyone to go to Amazon, type in Unrested Peace, and purchase that book because I wrote it. And, I think it's pretty cool personally, and a lot of other people have. So definitely get that and check it out. It's a great tale of some sexual, psychological, and physical and paranormal encounters that I went through growing up. So I know you'll enjoy that. That's going to be great. It's available on Kindle and paperback. I believe it's cheap. I don't know.
It's about $6.
It's about $6. Jody knows. You bought it, right, Jody?
I did, and it's a very sexy paranormal story.
I got disconnected.
Hey, yeah, I got cut off.
I got cut off, Jody. You're saying that my book is awesome because
Bottom of my heart. In fact, I'm pretty sure they thought I was going to say something a little too sexy about your book because they kicked me off there for a second. But yes, it's very good. You'll definitely learn some new things about Jason.
New things about me.
A lot of new things. It is awesome.
This is actually going to be the first week that we're going to see something that's weird paranormal news.
It's going to be good.
Do we have any kind of cues that we can put for that? Something weird. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Something creepy. The Twilight Zone intro. Yeah. What do you got, Jason?
Well, actually, you sent me the link, so it's basically what you sent me.
Okay. All right, I got them all open. So okay.
So we're going to go to the Ohio mummy thing.
Yeah, it's not weird. It's kind of gross too.
And it's kind of fucked up. It is. Apparently, everyone. I'm reading this right from the website, everyone. So I am not. These aren't from my words. I'm just going to read it. And our guest, who is the guest anyway tonight?
Our guest today is Rick Cooper. Is that how you say your last name?
It's actually pronounced Kieber, but with the German spelling, everyone pronounces it Cooper, so no worries.
Kieber. Okay, good. We got it. Rick Kieber. Rick wrote a great new book called Forever Ash, and he's going to tell us a little bit about his experiences that led him up to writing that book. And it looks like a great book. It looks really creepy, and I understand this is going to be a series of books, right?
Yes, it is. It's one in a series of 3 at this point. With an ongoing paranormal team, it could grow into more, but at this point, I have 3 books planned out.
Cool. Excellent. We'll definitely hear that after we hear these quick news stories, and we'll have some 3-way discussion about these little birds.
3-way.
Oh, yeah. Jody gets the middle of this. Jody, do you do double anal?
What do you mean? Do I what? Of course.
Ouch.
If anybody's doing anything, baby, you know I'm doing it.
Really?
Absolutely.
I think that's an invitation.
Let's just say there isn't anything you could slide by me.
Really?
Yeah. We better go back to the news story. Let's talk about, according to CNN, and this is from the Huffington Post, this is real news. It's really weird news that we worked hard to dig up for you from around the globe, but these are not, any kind of fake stories that we made up. You're not going to find it on Snopes or anything like that. But this is a true story, what happened out in Dayton, Ohio, and I guess Jason's going to finish telling us about it.
And it's on CNN, I believe.
Yeah.
They covered it, yeah. Well, anyway, a boy apparently stepped into an abandoned house, probably a paranormal investigator enthusiast or something like that. Who the hell knows? Well, anyway, he stepped into a house in Dayton, Ohio, on the morning of Sunday the 15th. I guess this happened last month, if I'm not mistaken. Right. He was terror-stricken to find a mummified corpse hanging by the neck from a belt. All right. Now, Edward, the guy who was hanging, his name was Edward Broughton. He occupied the house in 2009 when he was about 40 years old. He hung himself to death with a belt in his closet, and his body had been there for 5 years after, only to be discovered by a curious boy in 2014. At the time of the suicide, Bruton was still new in the neighborhood, as he had moved in only months before, but left his family friends, hence no one ever inquired into his absence. The almost every closet preserved the body from decapitation, insect, and animals, giving it a mummified effect, according to Ben Betts, director of the Montgomery County Coroner's Office.
Isn't it so gross? Can you imagine?
It's 5 years.
Ew.
The neighbor walked by and said, I don't smell nothing.
Can you imagine? This poor guy, I mean, nobody even missed him, and it was 5 years. That's awful. I mean, that is so bad. But can you imagine you go into a new place, it's abandoned, you're thinking you're going to investigate or, whatever, you're looking around and you find that?
Yeah, well, it does happen occasionally, I suppose, but usually people have been to these places before an investigator gets interested. So usually that does happen if it's usually not a legal situation.
No. How sad. That's awful. I mean, it says at the bottom of the page, people find mummified animals much more frequently, like cats. And,
right.
Things like that have been stuck in buildings for long periods of time. But I think it's pretty unusual to find a body 5 years later.
5 years?
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Oh, what the fuck is that? Human.
Oh, yeah, gross.
It's all good.
Yeah. Well, we got another one. I believe this was also here in the United States. The Bigfoot news. Did you check out that story in Virginia?
Yep, I have. I have it open right now.
That looks like a good one. I mean, we've all been there. I mean, who hasn't spotted Bigfoot, right? Have you done? You guys used to squatching ever? Little squatching action.
I don't spot.
Yeah, we really don't either.
The only stuff I do is walk around and shit while camping. That's supposed to stop in my deck.
We've never done it intentionally.
I mean, anytime you're camping, I mean, come on, you're out with a girl, you're in a tent. I mean, isn't it crazy? Oh my God.
I'm sorry.
When Jason's in a tent with a girl, he couldn't care if Sasquatch comes by.
Dude, we could knock on the door and say, dude, I'm going to check the photos for you, man. Play Madonna. I wouldn't give a shit. Like, I'm not going to be here. Find your own fucking time.
I mean, I've got a bunch of friends. I got a bunch of friends on Facebook that are really into Bigfoot. I mean, hardcore. 20 years, Sasquatch fans. I have actually been invited, to the Georgia mountains or out in, lower Tennessee to go squatching. And, you kind of set up in the woods the same way that you're going to set up to do any paranormal investigation, but then, everybody sort of hovers around in the woods real quiet, to see what's going to happen. And I mean, you don't always spot something, but somebody always says they spotted something. It's these unbelievable stories. But this guy, Randy O'Neill, his father and Uncle Jack, 25 years after supposedly their story was they murdered a Bigfoot.
Yeah,
finally caught
him or something like that, or who don't know.
Yeah, I mean, well, where is he? We haven't seen it. I want to see that. But finally, I mean, there is a picture here. Finally, they caught the big man on camera, and the wild really perched. And Jason and I are looking at a pretty good picture. This is available on the Metro News, which is a UK site, but in Virginia. for all of those unbelievers, Randy invites you to dissect the image that he has taken that is posted online to find any discrepancies at all or any photoshopping or altering. Go ahead and try to prove that it's fake. I mean, and I could see the picture. I mean, it is kind of cool, but, I mean, why is it that Sasquatch or Bigfoot, I mean, why do they always look fuzzy? Why is it we can never really see them? What's that about?
Oh.
Right? Think about that.
Look at these dumbasses, man. They're trying to find me again.
Well, if you're out on the intercoastal waterways out in Virginia, you might want to keep an eye out for the alleged Bigfoot, because apparently he could be hanging out on the opposite shore, for sure. But take a good picture, because we're tired of these fuzzy pictures of Sasquatch. I mean, come on.
Yeah. And I believe these guys actually own a bait shop, too.
I think they do own a bait shop, and they're always down there telling their unbelievable stories about Bigfoot to anybody that'll listen. Which,
I'll give them a plug.
I mean, that's right up there with the hot girl that they probably talk about being with. I mean, nobody really believes those stories. 5 or 6 years, all kinds of stuff comes out. So, hey, the son and the uncle go fishing, drinking beers, end up shooting up Sasquatch. I mean, anything can happen. I don't know, you guys. I mean, do you believe in Bigfoot or Sasquatch, either one of you?
Personally, I don't.
I don't say I believe in it or disbelieve in it. I don't think the claims are out there that are real.
I agree.
Some of them are probably hoaxed, and the other 1% are mistaken.
This is the problem that I find with the whole Bigfoot story. A picture of an actual Sasquatch is probably going to be worth thousands of dollars. I can guarantee it, an actual piece of footage. Now, knows that. Now, let me ask this good question. How many hunters are there in this country? We're talking millions across the globe, millions of hunters. And every year, those millions of hunters is loading up the woods with trap cameras. 3 or 4 of them apiece. You know what I mean? So, between October and December, the woods is covered beyond belief of millions and millions of trap cameras. So hunters can track their food and shoot them. How come none of them have captured Bigfoot on the cameras?
I mean, come on. And, I mean, even down here where I live in the hardcore and the redneck South here, I hear them shooting all the time. Everybody's got, a giant, a duck blind, or they've got, a hunting stand in their yard, or, a couple of them spread out over the acreage that they own out here. There's a lot of woods out here, and nobody ever gets a clear picture. I mean, nobody's shot one. Nobody has a piece of one. I find it so, it's not that I don't want to believe, but I find it so hard to believe,
Yeah, I agree. I can see a possibility of there having been a great ape in North America at some time, maybe even still existing in the Northwest somewhere, possibly. And maybe at some point that was mistaken for a Bigfoot, and that's where the legends come from.
Right.
But it seems kind of odd that there has been no even fossilized evidence or remains, ever found. It just kind of really makes it pretty difficult to believe.
It does. I've got a friend who's been, Sasquatch hunting for a long time. Chris Allen. Do you know Chris? We should totally get Chris on one day. Yeah, exactly. We should totally get Chris on one day and talk to him about Bigfoot. I think we should. It would be fun.
We could do it.
Yeah, I think he's got some pictures. I mean, he will swear to you that Bigfoot is for real. He has seen them. I mean, he is really into it. We've had discussions. I mean, not this year, but we have had discussions about it in the past. So, I think we should totally talk about that. It's interesting.
It is an interesting, and it's a very controversial subject when you get into the cryptozoology world. But they're the ones that will literally start a fist fight over their evidence. They will, man. They will get out in the street and say, "I will whip you down." That's a real big one. This is motherfuckers.
You're serious. Did you watch the Bigfoot shows on TV and Finding Bigfoot? And I watched it. I watched a couple of
seasons. Yes, a few of those.
I've watched a bunch of them, a couple of seasons, on a marathon, and it's entertaining. I just haven't seen them produce anything. I want them to produce it. I just haven't seen it. I'd love to see it. If anybody has great Bigfoot evidence, I mean, send it to Jason or send it to me. We would love to see it.
Absolutely. I'm open to the idea. I went to one Sasquatch excavate adventure once, and it wasted my time, but it's not like I won't try. It's not like I mean, hey, if you have the evidence of Sasquatch, I will publicly admit I am wrong. Sasquatch exists, but I haven't seen it yet.
Absolutely. I will absolutely admit it.
Well, we move to our next story.
Chile releases official study on UFO photos. This is new. This was just posted in July. But over in Chile, the government office is investigating UFOs, and they've actually released an analysis of two really high-quality photos showing what appear to be genuine, unidentified flying objects flying out above a remote copper mine. Now, I mean, that's interesting to me. The office, known as the CEFAA, the Committee for the Studies of Anomalous Aerial Phenomena, say that 10 times fast, is located within the Ministerial Department of Civil Aeronautics. I mean, this is serious. That's the equivalent of our FAA under the jurisdiction of the Chilean Air Force. So, I mean, that's pretty cool. The department is responsible for the analysis of selected reports of unexplained aerial phenomena in Chilean airspace. Most of them, are submitted from pilots and aviation personnel. So these pictures were taken above the Collahuasi copper mine, more than 14,000 feet above sea level in the Andean Plateau on the far north side of Chile, which is an extremely remote location with very low oxygen levels and unusually clear skies. It's desolate and inhospitable. So this mine produces copper concentrate, and all kinds of other, it has 3 huge open pit mineral deposits there. And I guess that 4 technicians who were on site there, who specialize in electricity and electronics, were there working, and they witnessed a disc-shaped object which approached them slowly. It actually was present, I guess, sort of hovering for more than an hour. I mean, moving around in different positions, different positions, and hovering at about 2,000 feet. One technician took pictures with his Canex Samsung, I told his camera, S860 camera, and the object didn't make any sounds. Eventually, it moved away toward the east. They were so freaked out because, come on. You go home, you tell your family, oh, my God, this is what happened. I was at work today. I think I saw a UFO. I mean, people look at you like you're insane, or especially if they're really non-believers in anything paranormal. And I don't know, how people react to that over there in Chile, but they all talked it over and decided because it was a negative, association, they had no intention of ever telling anyone anything. They were just going to keep it private. So a few months later, the guy who took the pictures, the photographer, casually he just decided to show the pictures to a chief engineer at the mine. And the engineer was super interested, and he asked for copies. And so they actually sent the images over to the CEFAA and provided the agency with all the information that was reported, from the witnesses. And even he did not want people, the gentleman from the mine, to know who he was. So the meteorological office at the DJAC confirmed that there was absolutely clear skies at that time. There was no possibility of lenticular clouds, and all other meteorological phenomena had been ruled out by the Chilean officials as a possible explanation. So they just can't explain it. There were no drones in the area. There were no planes going by, no weather balloons. There was nothing else. The officials said nothing that could explain. Yeah.
I mean, two planes recently just, vanished off the face of the earth like a fart in the wind. So I think, I wouldn't say, the equipment that these people are using are extremely high tech.
Right. Well, they're going to say that. Of course. Well, I mean, it's Chile. They're going to say that, but it's pretty interesting. Now that definitely gets my attention. Have you ever seen a UFO? Either one of you? Any experiences like that?
I have. I have seen a UFO until it got closer, and then I realized it was a plane.
Okay. Okay, so you thought it was until it got really close to you. I've
never seen one.
Never seen anything. You know, the reason that I believe in UFOs and why I love UFO stories is because my father was an air traffic controller in the Navy, you know, and he told me he saw a lot of things while he was there, and, you know, a lot of things that were covered up. And when I was a little girl, you know, Jason loves these stories. When I was a little girl, we were all in the car together cuddling. There was lots of girls cuddling in the car. And we were driving up to the lake house out in Sebring, Florida. And on the way there, I'll never forget, my dad pulled over to the side of the road, and he made everybody get out. You know, my mom, my sister, we all got out, and we stood there looking up into the sky in Central Florida. And I am telling you, there was 4 bright orange lights in the sky. And, you know, and I was a child, so I didn't observe it the way that I would observe it now. You know, with the things that I know now, I would be looking for, you know, more specific information. But it was really weird and really cool, and we stayed out there for about an hour until they went away. My dad thought it was crazy, and he definitely thought that it was UFO. So, I mean, that's my only experience, my only story, my only UFO story. But, you know, I kind of always wanted to know more about that.
I think the idea of UFOs and aliens actually makes more sense than Sasquatch. And I'll tell you why. Because the equipment that we use to view space is extremely limited. I mean, space it doesn't end. It just keeps right on going, as far as we know. And our telescopes, our technology that we have to view space has just barely, you know, pierced our own galaxy. Now, we're talking, you know, just a little minuscule dot in the middle of a pool that you're trying to find, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, to sit down and say that, you know, there is no such thing as, you know, some kind of life form out there besides our own existence is completely gullible or stupid to think that.
Yeah.
Now, to sit down and also see that, you know, you have, you know, even our own government has released, you know, some UFO sightings, UFO-like sightings. They won't exactly say, you know, UFOs or whatever the case may be, but they have at least, you know, that, yeah, unidentified flying objects we have spotted. What they were, no idea. And, you know, we have NASA working on the existence of, you know, life besides ours, and a lot of other scientists across the globe. So, I mean, to sit down and get the attention of bigger political figures, it's got to be something more to it than just, you know, a fucking Bigfoot. You know?
Yeah, I think so. I really do. It makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, I don't know the numbers off the top of my head, but kind of to paraphrase something that Carl Sagan said years ago. And I don't remember what the equation is even called, but there's an equation out there that basically states that if you look up into the sky, and out of the billions of stars, if 1 in a million has a solar system, and out of those, 1 in a million has a planet similar to Earth, and out of those, if 1 in a million of those planets has a atmosphere that can maintain life or support life, then there would still be literally billions upon billions of planets in our universe that could sustain life. So to think that if that's a possibility, that none of them actually have life on them is really pretty narrow-minded. Now, whether they travel the galaxy or not, that's a whole other story. And something else, kind of just to play off what Jason was saying there about, you know, our limited resources here, is we look at the sky and the universe through human eyes. What we're looking for may be completely wrong. You know, our telescopes may not be picking up the correct thing. You know, and we're trying to listen to radio waves. Some alien civilization, you know, maybe completely different than ours, that as far as the science and the physics operate. Just because we look at it doesn't mean we're going to see it. sort of like almost another dimension, so to speak. I don't know if that's getting too deep or not.
No, not at all.
But yeah, it's, to say that, well, we looked with the Hubble telescope and there's nothing out there is about as close-minded as you can get. Just my thoughts, my opinion.
Oh, I agree. Absolutely. It can't be, it's an infinite space. We can't be the only, galaxy of planets in the universe. There has to be many, 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 many more. Anybody that doesn't think that is crazy.
Yeah,
well, that's
I agree.
something funny about aliens. This is the funny part that I think is completely humorous. I laugh whenever I hear it. Are people actually want to try to capture them and test them? And I'm like, dude, they just fucking able to fly past where we were able to. And you want to test them? Really?
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
It's kind of zap their beam that'll zap your cars in a blink of an eye.
Yeah, no kidding.
I find that beautiful.
Yeah, another thing, too, you consider how long mankind has been around compared to the age of the universe. And you look at how much we've evolved in just, the short period of time that we take up. You can imagine that if there's a race out there that had been, existing for a billion years, it's hard to fathom where they could have evolved to at this point. So that combined with wormholes and all the other, physics equations that I don't understand, I just find it hard to believe that there's not alien life forms. And if they visited here, that's entirely possible, because if they did and didn't want us to know, we wouldn't know.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. And there's just a lot of things, that are unexplainable. And
I agree.
Like I'm really into the pyramids, and we can't do that. We can't do that now. How did they do it then? I've always had a fascination with that. Very, very interesting. Really is. It brings a lot of questions up, and the paintings that they find that look like they have aliens in them, or ships coming down. I find it very compelling. Very compelling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is quite interesting. I have watched that TV series Ancient Aliens a few times, and while some of it is a little bit far-fetched, there's some parts of it that just are baffling.
The problem with Ancient Aliens, I think they try to turn everything into...
I agree.
Yeah. For example,
you have to make the slice of pie that's believable out of that one.
To give you an example, when they do the pyramids, and they say, look at these pictures on the wall. Abstract art, you fucking moron. People do it today. You know what I mean? They take what they know. They take what they know and they turn it into something. It's abstract art. People do it all the time. It's been going on for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. People have been making abstract art. It's just the way it is. Salvador Dali's paintings of the clock, the melting fucking clock. Are you saying that's an alien? No, it's a fucking abstract art, you moron.
Yeah, Picasso with the moaning man that, it looks like an alien. But one thing about that, though, one thing about that I find interesting, though, is from Ancient Alien show. There was one particular episode where they were showing different art from around the world about the same time period, and one of it was like in the Aztec Empire, but they all had this similar being, which looked very alien. And it was kind of interesting because it didn't look like any of the cultures in particular, but they all looked the same. And I thought that was kind of interesting.
Right. That's the thing is, back to the abstract art even, it's all over the world. It's in all different places. It exists from so many different groups of civilizations, yet there seems to be a common thread. Explain that. I can't. Why do the pictures look so similar? They really do.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Excellent. And that was our very first news 15 minutes that we were going to.
It's good.
In the beginning of the show.
Yeah,
that was your 15-minute news half hour?
We'll get the hang of it. Yeah.
That's okay. It was good.
It was good. It was good. And I think that's the first time we did, the first time ever Ghost Dad ever did a news, and the first time it went off pretty well. It went off amicably.
Yeah.
I liked it. I like it.
It was good. It was good. Now, before I go on to convince Jody of taking the clothes off, tell us about your book.
How do I walk into Skype?
I'll tell you later. I'll get back to you. I'm going to get back to you on that.
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah, I'll stay on the line.
Is that going to be a three-way, too? I feel a three-way coming on.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you tell us about the book?
Tell you about the book. Okay. All right. Well, the book Forever Ash, the first in a series, of course, and it follows my team, which is Evansville Vandenberg Paranormal, which is the city, county that I'm from, and the acronym for that is EVP. So we go by EVP Investigations. Now, the book itself follows investigating a particular entity, which in this particular book, unfortunately, I don't have the consent of the family and the property owners to use the actual names and locations.
Mm-hmm.
But the rest of the team, gave me their consent to use their names, and which would be my lead investigator, Jen Kirsch, who's been with me since 2008. Katie Collins, another lead investigator, has been with me since about 2010. And Theo Costaritas, who's a Greek psychic medium. And he's joined the team off and on to help us out with some situations if we need a little more history research, or if we need some place to be cleansed, smudged, sage smudging, something like that.
I don't want to throw you off track, but Ethan
No.
Be a Catholic girl.
I grew up Catholic. I gave it a plan.
You're so bad. Me too. I went to 12 years. The point was that I went to 12 years of Catholic school, and I wore a little short skirt.
With the skirt.
Yeah.
I got that. I was just kind of blowing past that one. I knew that was the insinuation.
And back to you.
Okay, so what's that?
Does that help you concentrate at all?
Yeah, what were we talking about?
You're very
in class. So basically, the backstory of this, and I don't want to give too much away because I'd like people to read the book.
Of course.
I was contacted by a reputable person in the community whose father passed away, left them a piece of ground that they didn't even know the family owned. And through a visit there, they had a feeling that the place was haunted for obvious reasons. We actually came across this entity, and I'm not going to use her actual name, but we call her Ashley.
Mm-hmm.
But Ashley had a very unique gift. She was very, I would say she's probably the most powerful entity I've ever encountered. She had the ability to, in the best of my ability to explain this, to attach herself or tune into EMF frequencies, which if anyone's familiar with the paranormal, they understand that an EMF is just an electromagnetic frequency that comes off of everything electronic, and even people have an EMF. Lightning, anything that has electricity running through it would be a cell phone. When my cell phone goes off, it sends an EMF signal.
EMS beam also picked up radiation.
Yes. Yeah. She was able to tune into these EMFs and basically travel with them. For a phone conversation with the landowners, she actually had the ability to come across the phone and begin to torment myself as well as some of the other members of the team through some horrific. I'm going to call them nightmares at this point, but some of it was so realistic. I can't say that I wasn't awake, but I'd like to think I wasn't.
Wow.
Yeah, the backstory on poor Ash now. This was a little girl, about 10 years old. Lived back post-antebellum, or, just after the Civil War, and which is a long period of time after the witch hunts. But we don't really know the whole backstory. But apparently, she had some sort of abilities, whether it be psychic or telekinetic. I really don't know what they were, but for some reason, this child, even as a young child, was labeled as a witch. Her mother died giving birth to her. Her father kept her isolated in this little farmhouse they lived in, and eventually he became shunned by the whole community, to the point where he went to a radical church group that there again, I'm not going to name them, but I give them the name of the book called The Chosen, just because I don't want to discriminate or point anybody out. But they basically drugged the poor girl, chained her up to a kettle iron on the fireplace, and set fire to her. And it was actually how she died. And I guess the horrific death that she went through, and not ever having a real relationship with a parent. I don't think her father and her really had much of a relationship. I think that's what caused her to be so angry with everything and everyone, and not knowing how or why to move on. And as far as I can tell, she was actually trapped in this house until this family went to just basically check out the property, because they were kind of weren't sure if they were going to keep it, sell it, what they were going to do with it. But they went to check out the property, and I guess sort of released Ashley out into the world. So the book chronicles our encounters with Ashley, from here to the farm itself, which was located a couple of states away, and how we tried to help her and the family find some peace. And really, the book. It's fictionalized because we don't know the whole story, so I had to kind of fill in the blanks. But that, and because I changed the names and things, of course. But really, the point of the story is acceptance and finding peace, not discriminating. And that's kind of why I wanted to write it. It wasn't so much, that I just had to tell everybody about this amazing paranormal adventure. It was to tell everybody that, this poor girl was discriminated against so badly that her own father and this church, so to speak, put an end to her life at the age of 10 years old through a horrific death. And all because she was different. So that's kind of the backstory. I don't know if I don't want to go into too many details, but I thought I'd like for everybody to actually read the book. But it's been quiet on that end. Did I lose you guys?
No, we're here.
Okay.
It's an intriguing story.
Well, thank you. It was an intriguing adventure. It took several weeks of our life, actually about a month and a half of our lives, just to do the investigating, and condensed it down in the book to make it not boring. I didn't put a lot of filler in it, what we did in between times and things like that. So, but it was a fascinating adventure, and we learned so much, and not only about the paranormal, but just about about ourselves and the human nature in general through this one investigation, and it really kind of drove me to search out more situations where people needed help, and not just to go someplace because we heard it was haunted, you know.
Excellent. And what inspired you to write the book?
What inspired me to write it?
Yeah.
Well, I originally wrote it, or began to write it shortly after the investigation, just because while it was crisp on my mind, I wanted to get some of the important things down. And by the time I had finished, I was at about 50 pages, and I thought, man, this could be actually, you know, I could actually make a book or a long story out of this. And this was about 3 years ago, and 3 or 4 years ago, my computer actually crashed, and I lost the whole thing. And at that point, I was discouraged, and I thought, well, maybe it's just not meant to be. But then, just about less than a year ago, I decided that, you know what, I'm ready now to tell the story again. No, it won't be exactly the same as when I was writing it right after it happened, but I'll get the point across. And another reason why I wrote it was something to leave behind. I dedicated it to my son, and I thought, you know, it'd be kind of nice someday he'd be able to say, my dad wrote this book, and which now will be probably a series of books. But the motivation really was that I wanted to get the feeling of the story, not so much the details of what happened, but just the idea of, you know, treat people right, even if they're a little different. You know, I don't care if you're a Buddhist or a Christian. You know, you don't have to persecute the other one just because they're a little different than you are.
Yeah.
So I mean, that was kind of my motivation behind it.
Excellent.
I think the story itself is independent of that. You know, I mean, just personally, I mean, I'm a little biased, but I have some good reviews on it, though.
Excellent. Well, what do you think was the hardest part about writing it?
Oh, not being able to type fast enough.
I know. You see,
because being something I experienced, it was fairly easy to put the story out there. It was just my brain was working faster than my fingers could type. So the book itself, with the foreword and some bios in the back and things, is about 240 pages, and I wrote it over the course of about 6 months. Of course, that's just an hour here and there because I also have a full-time career. But actually, I guess if you condensed it, you know, to like an 8-hour day, I probably wrote the book in about 2.5 weeks.
I think one of the problems that I've had was, there was a couple of big problems. One, time was an issue. I didn't have enough time to write. I didn't have, you know, so forth and so on. But, I mean, my book kind of told a tale of when I was a teenager. You know, I read it. Even Jody will. Well, she's read it. She knows now. She knows that way. But I was picked on quite a bit, and a lot of my problem writing that book was kind of reliving that particular moment in my life, I guess.
Yes.
I don't hold any grudges against any of that, or whatever the case is, because it helped me shape into the person that I am today, and I respect that. Yeah, I think that was the biggest part of the hardest part of writing it, was just reliving that. However, I can relate with you. The story's already written, and all you want to do is just get it out and get it done. And, you know, that part was fairly easy after getting it on. Sure, I mean, I had to rewrite a few things because, well, you type so damn fast and you go back and it's like, that makes no fucking sense.
Oh, yeah, there's always editing to be done, but yeah, and you're right. You know, of course, this story is probably maybe not as personal as your book. I'm not sure, but yeah, there were parts of this book that were difficult to write, just because I had to sit there and relive it in my head. Some of the discoveries that we had, and you know, finding out the truth behind the death. And, you know, it's very emotional, even now talking about it. I'm not uncomfortable talking about it, but it's just very emotional.
Is your next book that you're writing going to take off where that one left, or is there a time period in between?
Well, yes and no. That's a good question. Because this first book is fictionalized, I've decided to do that with the series. It makes for a better story for those who are maybe not such true believers. And so what I've done is I've condensed it to where the second book will pick up right where this one leaves off. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm kind of doing the same thing with the trilogy thing. I got 3 books that I'm planning on writing, all part of the trilogy. The first one obviously was released in February. That was called Unrested Peace. My next one's going to be entitled Feeble Minds, and the one after that is just going to be self-entitled Paranormal Rebel. Again, they're all accurate, stories of who I am and what I've done, especially in the paranormal field. I tried to get a lot more. I'm getting a lot more deeper, more intimate with, myself, I guess you can say. Getting intimate with myself. That sounds good.
And this is the point where we're all glad we're not on Skype.
Yeah, this is a perfectly normal conversation right here. 100% comfortable. But you know what I mean. It's more. I guess you can say it's kind of like, you ever see the movie Stand By Me?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, there's 4 buddies and 5 buddies. They walk down the train track. They have the bombs on it, and just dead bodies go to fuck home. It's going to be kind of like that, I guess you can say.
Right. All right. That's cool. My second book in the series is centered around an investigation that took place at a social club, a private club called the Owl's Nest. I guess it's like a nationwide thing, but there's a local club here that was built around a home that was a home to a family in the late 1800s, early 1900s. The Owl's Nest bought it in 1922. But the family that lived there had 4 children that died in the home at a very young age. And there were also some other deaths that occurred there as well, but they contacted us, and we did a series of investigations there over several months. And it was very, very intriguing to uncover this layer by layer what was going on in this location. And while it didn't take place directly after this one, the way I wrote the stories, one just kind of leads directly into the other one. And one of the interesting things about this, the Ghost of Ashley, is that we feel like she kind of has this attachment to us now because we tried to help her out and help her find her peace. But there's been times on investigations, including at the Owl's Nest, where she had made an appearance, so to speak. It was almost without a doubt that was the entity we were dealing with because of certain things that she would do. But the building is still active. I don't want to go too much into it. I'll get away into the story, but long story short, the Owl's Nest is no longer in that location. But before they moved, we were able to do several investigations there, and then we did one where we actually brought in some of the patrons, and public, and just kind of explained to them what was going on, and I think that actually helps quite a bit with the entities that were residing there, not feeling like an outcast, so to speak, as opposed to people being afraid of them. And we were kind of introducing them to each other.
Yeah. Now you're also a paranormal investigator. How long have you been doing that?
I founded EVP in January of 2008. So, a little over 6 years, I guess, or about 6 years.
Yeah.
I had an interest in all things paranormal, whether it was UFOs, ghosts, unicorns. Since I can remember, and I've always dealt with everything on a very analytical point of view, very scientific minded. In fact, in high school, I actually was so much into science that everything else kind of took a back seat, and I graduated high school like half a year early. Yeah. But I still had more than enough credits in science. I major in science plus a few credits. So I'm passionate about all things scientific, and I always wanted to be like a scientific researcher. And I thought, there wasn't anything more fulfilling in life than to answer a question that nobody had ever answered before. And so that kind of really feeds into the paranormal investigator, because there's so many questions out there and so few real concrete answers. A lot of it happened. I've got a 14-year-old son. A lot of my interest in the paranormal happened shortly after he was born, and my closest brother died suddenly of a stroke. It took a long time to get over that, but one of the things I just couldn't keep myself from thinking was that could have been me, leaving my son behind.
Yeah.
And I just kept thinking there's got to be more than just this existence. And it wasn't too long after that I started doing some research, library research, and learning about the subject. And then a few years after that, after doing that for a few years, then I started to see the TV shows pop up. And I watched a couple of them, and I thought, well, why can't I do that? I mean, that's simple. Yeah. So I kind of, stood on their shoulders, so to speak, and took what they had decided.
How have you changed intellectually from when you first started investigating up until now?
When I first started, my whole point was, I had two major points when I first started investigating paranormally. One was to try to find proof of the paranormal, and secondly was to experience something paranormal. And that's I thought if I could experience something that without a doubt was paranormal, if I could find proof of it, then that would ease my mind that there's more than just this human existence we have. And it wasn't very long after that I started realizing that there's a lot more to it. It's more about helping people. People who, are in a situation and they don't know how to deal with it. They don't know why they're in the situation. And then actually it progressed from that point to trying to help the entities themselves that may be trapped, so to speak. I don't know if that's one of those things you just don't know. But
right.
If there's something that's trapped, or if they're here for a reason, they're maybe they don't want to be here or shouldn't be here, trying to help them to move on to find peace. It's one thing to help your neighbor, get past something that's scaring them. But you figure this life is so temporary. If you can help a spiritual being, find peace, that's eternal. That's a phenomenal feeling.
I agree. And sometimes that's all spirits want. It's just to have someone to chat with, to find that little bit of peace within themselves. And yeah, sometimes that helps.
Yeah. Sometimes it's just having a conversation of, hey, we know you're here, and it's okay, and you don't have to be here. And sometimes that's all it takes. Sometimes I just need acknowledgement.
Yeah. Now, why do you think it is that she hasn't been able to move on? Has she moved on now at this point? Did you guys help her move on, or is she still around?
Well, we did. At the time, I thought, we actually felt like we had some closure, like she had moved on and found her peace.
Right.
But we still see her pop up. And I think the difference is, someone explained it to me one time, and I wish I could remember exactly who it was, because I don't want to quote the wrong person. But they said that, this is just a paraphrasing, but there are ghosts and there are spirits.
Right.
And ghosts are entities that haunt a place, that are trapped somewhere, and spirits are free moving. So it's possible that maybe we've helped this Ashley to transition from ghost into spirit, to where she's free to move as she pleases, to come and go.
Absolutely. That makes perfect sense to me. Mm-hmm.
That's what we hope. Of course, like I said, there's so many questions and so few answers. We don't know for sure. I'd love to be able to say that that's definitely the situation.
Right, right. Now let me ask you, how did you go about doing your research on that location? I'm just interested because it spurned this whole book series, and I was kind of wondering. You have a lot of information about that location and the father, and what happened to that poor girl. How did you go about researching that?
Okay, we actually got in contact. One of our team members got in contact with the local. It was actually a very small town, but the local town hall, who sent us to their library. But then right next door was a place called Preservation Hall, which I actually in the book I combined them into one. But it was sort of like a local museum.
Right.
And they had some books and literature that had been written by local artists, local authors, and it was in one of those books I actually found the story of Ashley, and it was written by an unknown author. It was supposed to be fiction, but everything fit into place so well that we almost felt like either this person actually knows the story, or this is a close secondhand story. So a lot of the information comes from that, and I don't know for sure that that's the story.
Okay.
But,
well, that's what I wondered. Okay.
Yeah, but with what we found in our investigation and what was in the book, several pages, but it wasn't like a whole book. It was like a compendium of several little but the story itself was so spot on to when we got to the location, the things that we found, and the descriptions, that it was just almost hard to deny that wasn't the story.
Right. It was just compelling. I mean, that's interesting.
Yeah, and then there was actually a letter written by the client, and not client, but the person who contacted us. Their father, when he passed away, had the deed to the land and some other things in a folder. One of them was a letter about the property, which kind of helped tie it together a little bit as well.
Now, where did you find that? At the same location at the Preservation Hall? Was that the same place or something?
No, that was actually found. The family actually found that at the father's home after he passed.
Oh, okay. So that's great. So his sort of public records were actually located. That's interesting. Okay. Well, have you ever gotten an EVP of her saying her name or anything like that?
Actually, I haven't got one of her saying her name.
Okay.
I wish that I had. Of course, like I said, it's not actually Ashley. It's one of the things
yeah. Okay.
It's kind of unusual, and this is something that I didn't put in the book, really. But one of the things that we noticed was that when her name was mentioned, especially like if you said her full name, like all three.
Her real name, right.
Yeah, when you would mention her real name, it seemed like that would almost stir the fire. Like if she were there and you would actually call her out by name, things would actually start to happen visually and audibly, not just catching things on a recorder.
Now that's interesting. What kind of things?
Things like hearing voices coming from the next room. I mean, when you're in an abandoned house, no one's been in for 100 years, and you hear voices in the next room, and it's not just like, did you hear that? It was like there's somebody in there.
Wow.
Yeah. We actually had and this was at the family's house here locally. One of the first times we went and met with them, they actually had a vase. We were discussing the whole situation, and they actually had a vase that shattered in the same room with us. And that was
wow.
That was one of those alarms. The hair alarms are standing up right now, but that's one of those things that just it just stays with you Forever.
Absolutely. That's It's crazy.
Yeah. And one of the things about this, and this is kind of a theory, but there's a lot of thought put into it, and there's a lot of things that kind of back up my theory. But I really think that this entity, I was talking about how I think she was able to tune into these EMFs to travel. Mm-hmm. I actually think that she had done this with lightning. And you've heard the theories about battery drainage and things like that. Whenever the spirits are present, they're trying to draw energy.
I've experienced it firsthand many times. Absolutely.
Right. So can you imagine an entity that were able to connect with lightning? How much energy they would have?
That's fascinating. Yeah, I've never actually heard anyone actually say that before.
Yeah, and this is the first time I'd ever experienced anything like that. But there's always the theories about lightning storms, thunderstorms, raising the level of activity because of the electricity in the air. But to actually, connect
that makes sense.
With something that has that many joules of electricity. It's just, I can only imagine what an entity like that could do. I experienced, some of the things that were done, which is, in this one case, is far beyond anything else I had experienced paranormally over the last 6 years. But, I can only imagine how far it could have gone.
Wow.
Excellent. Before we continue on, we really do need to get a word in from our sponsors, considering, they're paying for the air. Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
So why don't we hear some commercial breaks, and the sponsors can get the airtime, and everyone's happy, and, no one gets pissed off at me and Jody because we didn't let them have their airtime.
Jason gets a cigarette.
Sounds fantastic. I'm going to grab a soda myself.
No. Whenever you're ready, Danny.
different. So.
Yeah.
Keever, our very good new friend Rick Keever, talking about his new book, which is a really, really interesting story. And of course, there's going to be sequels to the book, which is also great. So we really look forward to that.
Well, thank you. I look forward to getting this next one out here. I anticipated book 2 to be about 300 pages, and so I'm about halfway through writing it now. I'm hoping for an October release on that one.
Oh, that would be good.
I definitely can't wait to purchase it, the first book, in all honesty. Would you agree, Double Stuff?
Absolutely. I am absolutely going to purchase the book. It sounds like a fascinating story. And, of course, I'm going to look forward to the books that come out after that, continuing your paranormal adventures. Absolutely.
Fantastic.
What kind of equipment do you typically use when you go out investigating, and which one would you consider as your more popular ones that you tend to carry around the most?
And what's your favorite?
Oh, gosh. On site, one of my favorites probably is a very common one, and that would be the K2 meter.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great tool especially when you're in an abandoned location where there's no electricity. Of course, we do the whole 9 yards, infrared cameras and DVR systems, and of course, we usually have at least 4 or more digital recorders going at a time.
Mm-hmm.
Digital recorder is probably my favorite because I get some of the best evidence with it. But that's an after-the-fact piece of equipment, in my opinion, unless you play like real-time EVP. But that's probably my favorite. I just love electronic voice phenomenon.
I've got the you know what recorder that is?
What is it?
H1 Zoom.
H1 Zoom?
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with that, no.
It's a more high-end. It's a more high-end recorder. It costs about $100. It's actually designed for musicians. That's basically what it's designed for. And it's a real-time recorder. It's got built-in speakers. It's got stereo quality, which means considering it has stereo quality, it's got all the noise reduction products you could possibly imagine. So, I mean, it's probably the best recorder I've ever bought, and well worth $100. I let our very own producer, Denny Gager, I let him use it once. Denny, I know you're listening, Denny. When I let you use the recorder, what did you think of it? He's not listening.
He's not listening. There's great.
He's watching YouTube.
I just went on and researched about it because Jason knows I'm trying to pick up a few new pieces of equipment this season, to add on. It's always fun to get something new, but Musicians Exchange has it, or Musician's Friend online, and the accessories kit for it's only $25. You get a tripod and everything and a case with that. I don't think it's a bad price at all. I'm absolutely going to jump on that.
No, that's not a bad price. Not for a high-end recorder.
No. What have you done?
And it's well worth it. I'm not going to lie.
Have you picked up some good EVPs with it, or have you done that with it yet?
I've actually sat down, considering it's real time. I've been in places and actually sat down and had conversation with entities.
Fantastic.
It's amazing.
Really, I mean, it freaks you out the first time you put it in your ears,
Right.
I've let people use it, and within 5 minutes, they actually handed it back to me and said, Jay, do not let me have that again. Because it does. It freaks you out, of course. It really, really does. You're sitting down. I'll give you a prime example. You're walking down a hallway. It's pitch black out. You know what I mean? Obviously, it's pitch black. You're just walking, trying to figure out what you can in the smallest amount of light as possible, and you have these things on, and you're creeping along, because you don't want to knock something over. And then the next thing you know, you hear footsteps running up behind you, and you're like, what the fuck?
I get out the pepper spray. I get out the pepper spray when that happens.
Oh, it's great. It is great. That's the best recorder I have ever bought and the best $100 I've ever spent. I know it's a lot of money, everyone, but that one, well worth it. Well worth it.
I'll have to invest in one.
I've
had a few. I've got a Sony, and I've got a Colby, And believe it or not, the Colby, I've actually had some of the best EVPs on. And I think it's because, and it's just my opinion, but I think it's because it's a lower end. It actually picks up a lot of white noise. It throughout some of the stuff that...
Right.
You don't get that with the H1. You will not get that. Now, they do have other products.
I like that better, yeah.
They do have other Zoom products. They have the H2, the H3, and the H4. The H4 is the one you've seen on Ghost of Hunters, and it's the very big fucking fat recorder that you see him walking around with.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the H4. That is a waste of fucking money, people. It's not going to help you out. The reason why it's so big is because, again, it's designed for musicians, not for ghost hunting, so they cram, digital tuners in there and all the Hertz crap and all that shit that you don't need while investigating. So you can go ahead and spend $400 at that one cost, but it's a waste of fucking money.
Or you can buy 4 of the other.
High-end quality. You're going to get the high-end quality sound, don't be wrong.
Right.
But you get the same quality with the H1. And in reality, that's all you really want, is something that you can record and listen to.
Right, because we're not making music here.
Right, I was going to say, unless you're a musician / ghost hunter, and I actually do know a couple of those, you don't really need that. And I don't want to carry that around. I mean, my back already hurts too much.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah. I can't wait to get one. I don't think it's that much money. I mean, for me, it's not. I don't think that's outrageous at all.
$100 is not bad.
No, not for something that's high quality like that.
No, and like I said, a digital recorder to me is the best tool you've got out there. I mean, so every once in a while you catch something on a infrared camera or a thermal imager, but really I've gotten more quality evidence from a digital recorder
Right.
than everything else combined, probably.
I wouldn't waste my money on a thermal imager. It's again, people are looking at spending anywhere from $1,000 to $5,000 on that.
Oh, yeah.
Let's just face it, if you even capture an entity on it, it's swims in one. I mean, it might take you 5 years before you get one interesting, and I'm only saying interesting, I'm not even saying paranormal, one interesting piece of footage. And everything you get on it is questionable, and I'll tell you why, people, because those are actually designed for firefighters, and they're designed for people who do insulation. That's what it's designed for. It doesn't pick up walls in a room. It doesn't pick up any of that. It picks up hot and cold. That is it. So if there's an animal running up the wall in your house, and you see that in the thermal imager, you're going to see a red dot moving up and down what appears to be a wall, when in reality, it could be a rat, it could be a mouse, it could be anything. And if it's getting closer to winter, I don't give a fuck how tight your house is, you're going to have a problem with mice. Whether it's bad or not is a totally another story, but you're going to have field mice running around your house. It's going to happen.
Right.
I've got cats, so I don't worry about that. But I did not invest in thermal. I have friends that have them, that love them. I do have a night vision, but I never wanted to lay out the money for thermal. Just like what you just said, Jay, I never really thought it was really, really worth it. It's
I've used them before. We don't own one as a team, but I've used them before. They're kind of cool, but I agree with what you're saying, though. The only way to actually purchase one, if you're going to, is to get in touch with your local fire department and find out when they're replacing theirs, because they do it every so often.
Yeah, you can find out.
And you can buy them. You can buy them pretty reasonable then for a few $100, maybe $300-400.
Yeah.
But that's the only way I would ever suggest anybody buy one.
right.
But it's a waste of money. Waste of money. Don't buy that. Thermal imaging camera. Not one.
One of the things about it, I mean, they've got them. A lot of the ones that the fire department uses don't record.
Yeah, but
and a lot of times when people use them, they walk around with them or sit there and stare at the screen.
you can hook up a mini.
If you're staring at a 2-inch screen, you're missing everything else that's going on.
Right. Yeah.
You can walk around with an adapter that you can plug in that can record.
Right. Right.
Or you can hook it up to your DVR system.
Yeah.
I think that's the best.
Safe, so you're limited to range then, unless you've got a 1,000-foot cord.
Well, you can get a wireless setup and get a wireless setup and pick it up that way.
True.
But even that, you're still limited to 500 feet.
Yeah. Yeah. And like I said, if you're doing that, unless you're really good, most people can't hold one of those and not look at the screen. And,
no, I would have to. It would be too distracting for me. I just don't think it's worth it. I'm not planning to get that for sure. But it's fun. I mean, it's a fun toy. If you can afford it, you've already got everything else. I mean, go for it. But otherwise, save your money. If you're a team on a budget,
Yeah, like most teams.
Yeah.
Like most teams out there, we're all nonprofit or not-for-profit. You don't charge
absolutely.
Services. It all comes out of your pocket. So, if I sell a couple T-shirts or a couple books, that helps fuel the team. But outside of that, it basically it all comes out of our pocket. So, when you're talking about that kind of money, that's a lot of money to raise.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, for sure.
What other kind of equipment do you think is a waste of money to purchase?
Excuse me?
What other kind of equipment do you think is a waste of money to even consider purchasing?
Oh. Well, I'm not, honestly, people are really big on these full spectrum cameras.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've seen some interesting photos with them, but I don't know that it's really worth the money. Or even a high-end digital camera. None of them are going to filter out the fake orbs.
I mean,
No.
They're not going to show you what's a real, shadow figure. If there's a real shadow figure and you take a picture with a flash, it's not going to show up anyway.
No, I mean,
I've never had one show up.
I mean, it depends. I have a lower-end camera, and I also have I do have a high-end camera that I use as well, but I really like photography and taking pictures. I didn't buy it exclusively for, paranormal investigation. I did not buy it exclusively for that. And honestly, I carry the lower end camera most of the time. It's a Nikon, but it's I get great pictures with that. If I'm going to get anything, I think if you're going to get anything, just a decent camera is going to do probably just as well for you.
I think so. On a paranormal investigation, if you've got a cool pics, what I got, a camera that's $100 or less is going to do just as well. And if you drop it, you're not crying.
Yeah, that's one of my biggest rules. I tell people, never spend no more money than you're going to bitch about when it gets broken.
Right. Wandering around the dark, you're going to drop things, you're going to run into things. It's going to happen.
Spring for the warranty, I say. Spring for the warranty.
I think for a camera, you want to keep around a 12 megapixel.
Sure.
You can get, the higher megapixel one, which is perfectly fine if you want to spend that kind of money. But, 12 megapixels is typically good. You're going to get a fairly good quality picture. That's just my
opinion. Resolution.
Yeah.
It's good enough. It's good enough. I have to agree with that.
It's better than an 8 megapixel, and it's better than, all that other crap that you really don't need to go out and get. I mean, now they have, 24 megapixels, I think.
Yes.
And it's like,
yeah.
It's just a scary.
You take X-rays with that or what?
Personally, whenever I take pictures, half of my pictures that I take, they're taken without the flash. And the reason why is because if a shadow does appear, if I do capture something in that, when I brighten the picture up, it's going to appear in it. Right. And it makes it completely more substantial to sit down and say that is definitely something, because you see a shadow, and I assure you there was no light at all.
Right.
My flashes were off. There was nothing. You know what I mean?
And then you eliminate all the dust and insect orbs as well by not using a flash.
Absolutely.
Sometimes, not always. Sometimes they still
do,
but...
I suppose that's true. But you eliminate a large percentage of them.
You do.
Which is very helpful.
And to me, it just makes things a bit more substantial in that thing. I mean, sometimes I do use a flash. I also have a full spectrum, it's a video camera, more or less. And again, it's not a high-end one. I paid $300 for it. It's just a small video camera. It came with a full spectrum, the illuminator, and it came with a bracket. Now, I don't use the full spectrum that much. I mostly use IRs on it, and that's it. I have two Sony IRs. They're small. They're about $30 a piece. Yep. And they got, I believe, there's 24 lights in each one of those little things. So, I mean, it lights up pretty fucking good. They don't last long, needless to say, about a year, and then they're pretty much all dead. But, you know, they're well worth it, in my honest opinion. I mean, they're only $30.
Yeah.
No, I'm all about the IR. I think that's a great tool. One of the tools that I don't want to say it's not worth investing in, but, you know, they've got a millimeter.
I have it. I like it.
You know, it's a great tool. I think it's better for debunking, you know, and finding sources of the EMFs than, you know, it's hard to focus on that little screen to watch the EMF fluctuate. And like I said, once again, it's kind of like the infrared or the thermal imager, where if you're just focusing on that screen, you're probably missing something. Whereas, like the K2 meter, it can be across the room, and if it goes off, I see it.
Yeah. So I agree 100%. Again, that is, in my honest opinion, is a personal preference. And it also goes in with my thing of wasted things to buy. I mean,
and there's only so many things you can do at once.
Yeah. Don't buy something you're not going to use. And people, please think about it. You can get a K2 meter, you can get a millimeter, you can get a digital EMF, you can get a cell sensor, you can get a tri-field meter. It's the same fucking thing. It all picks up EMF. It's one better with it.
Yeah, well, they may pick up different ranges, but
I have
the K2 meter is the one is more sensitive than the others. The tri-field meter, you do have a versatile of different types of. I don't want to say electricity because it picks up radiation as well as radio frequencies as well, which is also radiation and wave waves. So,
but don't you think the tri-field?
On that?
Yeah, but when you walk around with it, I think it's never really accurate. It's only good when you sort of leave it in one place. The tri-field. That's how I feel about it, anyway.
The tri-field is also pretty expensive. I think it's $100, $120.
Yeah, it is.
And you just spent $120 that you're just going to put it on EMF and walk around with it. So,
pretty much.
Get a fucking K2 meter, please.
Save a few bucks, buy the millimeter.
Yeah, buy the millimeter.
I love the mil. I love it because I don't have to carry so many things with me. You know, it's dark or someplace in a small space, or if we're going up and down stairs and I don't want to carry as much equipment with me. You know, I'm good with my camera and a mel and a small recorder. You know, that's really all I really need.
Now, Amazon, you can find deals on Amazon. Like that, actually, one of the deals that I got for my millimeter, it came with a millimeter and a K2, and I only paid $120.
Oh, that's great. That's a great tip. Yeah, anybody listening, that is a really great tip if you're trying to, get equipment for your team. That's a great price because I know I paid more than that.
Yeah, the K2 I believe is $60 easily, and the millimeter, I believe, just for the basic one is $90. So.
Yeah, and I think I was at the Ghost Hunter store where I got mine, and everything was definitely full price.
Yeah.
You got ripped off, so definitely take that tip.
I'm so sure I did.
I bought a bundle myself. I bought the millimeter, K2 meter, and digital recorder all bundled together, and got a pretty good savings on it. But yeah, if you go out there and search for those, you'll definitely get a better deal. And like Jason said, there, check out Amazon.com. If they've got that bundled, there may be others as well.
Yeah, you can buy one now. I think they have a bundle deal with you can get 5 K2s, and I think it's like $300, something like that.
Yeah, that's great. For your team, that's great.
They have what else do they have? I think you can buy an Ovilus and a digital recorder for like $180 or something like that. They're now. I think they also have the SP7 box or whatever the hell it is.
I want one of those. Are you selling on Amazon?
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna get one.
I think that comes with a K2 too, and I believe that is only $90 or something like that, or $100.
Okay.
And that's all on Amazon.
That's great.
Check it out.
I'm willing for that. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna check that out. Yeah, I'm a girl. When I go shopping, I want it all. I want it now. Okay.
And you know what else is on Amazon?
you're going to pay the extra for the overnight delivery, right?
No, I've got Amazon Prime. I think I get.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
I'm a shopper. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You know what you can find on Amazon? A copy of the book Unrested Peace, everyone. It's available on Kindle and paperback.
Man, they must only carry good books, because you can find Forever Ash there as well.
You can.
And they're both. I'm definitely. They're both hauntingly good reads. Absolutely. And Jason's is very sexy.
It'll turn you on, people. And it'll also may want you to put it in the refrigerator, too.
It might. Don't read it alone. Or do.
Or do.
I did.
It's all good. How many people are with your team?
Right now, there are 4, including myself. We've always kept a small team. I think our largest membership was 8. But they've transitioned in and out. I actually had a husband and wife couple on my team who moved to Indianapolis. Was a kind of a big loss for us. But yeah, we've always tried to keep a very small team. It just works better when you are real familiar and friends with the person that you're working with. I've talked to some people who've been on some of these larger. They call them a team, but I think of it more as a club. You know, when you have 50 members and you handpick 5 to go to an investigation, or 6 or 8, and you know they work together once a year maybe, because there's so many people filtering in and out. To me, it doesn't work as well. I like to kind of know the people I'm working with, and I can anticipate their actions and reactions. So we've always stayed small.
Excellent.
Jason, how many people do you? Yeah, I was going to ask you, how many people do you usually go with, Jason?
It all depends the size of the location. If it's a small residential, I keep it down to about 4 or 5 tops. I've got down to 3 people. Again, like I said, it depends. But if I'm doing, you know, an asylum or an old prison, I'll invite my whole team, which ranges anywhere, depending on the week, I guess you can say. It ranges 7 people to 12 people.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so that's manageable, though. I mean, that's reasonable.
Yeah. I've been on a huge team, like what you're talking about. It wasn't my team. I had my own team, but I did work with a larger team in Georgia for a while, and I do think there's a lot of problems with that, and I always felt that nobody likes that when only 5 people are picked to go. Often, you start to get a lot of dissension on the team, and it just makes for problems.
Sure.
My own team has never been bigger than 10 people, but I would say 6 of us were definitely the most active. That went to really, really everything. It is much more personal, much more manageable, and I think it's it's more credible. The people that you trust, they're not going to say they saw something or they got something or anything like that.
This is a question.
Exactly.
Do you prefer to work with females or males?
A question for me?
Double stuff.
Oh. Well, not that I mind working with females. I prefer to work with males. I really do. I always have. I prefer to work with males. I've always kind of been a guy's girl. I always had a couple of girls on the team, but we always had more men on the team. Absolutely. And I don't know if it's just because that was the interest level. I would see where an all-female team could be a problem. And I've seen them, and sometimes there's a problem. And it could definitely be a problem for me. I could flirt with their man, their son, who knows. So you never know what's going to happen. But yeah, I don't know why. I think there's less cattiness with a male team.
Well, men are more laid back and they're more mellow, and
Yeah.
The bottom line. There's something wrong with females even trust one another.
Right.
And I'll tell you, and this is... Go ahead.
I don't want to carry up some big guys to, schlep my stuff. I got a lot of stuff. I need the valet,
Well, I'll be honest with you. My team has always had more female members than male.
Really?
And one of the things I noticed when I had a larger amount of male members than I do now was there was always like an ego battle going on. So there was always one team member who thought they were better than everybody else, and you find that I think more so with male team members. The team I've got now,
it's the male chauvinistic fucking competition thing.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
When they're trying to show off in front of the girls, or trying to, did you see what I saw over here? That doesn't impress me.
No. I could see that, though. I mean, there is always a little male ego that comes into play, and I mean that might also be why we seem to have so much paranormal, controversy and competition from group to group, because there are more men in the paranormal.
Could be. Yeah, and that's
investigating.
It just really is disheartening. We're all on the same team.
Yeah, we're all on the same team.
We may wear different T-shirts, but we're all on the same team.
Yeah, we should be. We're supposed to be. Exactly.
I love the memes that I've seen in the paranormal unity memes. I think it was fantastic. I wish everybody had that mindset.
I agree. I do. I agree with you. I wish people more had the same mindset as well. But needless to say, there's a lot of assholes out there.
Yeah.
There are. Yeah. And there are a lot of people out there who are just in it for their 5 minutes of fame. And
we talked about this, absolutely.
Facebook makes that even worse. It really has. People get 5,000 friends on Facebook, and all of a sudden they have this false sense of popularity. And it's like, dude, it's fucking Facebook, dude. If you died, half of those people wouldn't even give a rat's ass.
No.
But this is the question.
It's just one less thing to click like on.
But this is the question. This is the thing. Did they add you? Did they request to add you as a friend, or did you just click on 1,000 people? You know what I mean? Keep clicking up 50 every day, because that's not really collecting a following. That's you going out to try to find people to follow you.
Even for the people that friend request you, there's a good chance that like I said, half of them or even better only did that for fucking gaming.
You never know.
Now you know. I mean, let's just talk about this, because I get these fucking game invites all the time, and I keep posting it on my page because Jason knows. Look, I only play quarters, Twister, beer pong, dress up, and mine through. That's it.
Yeah.
Don't invite me to your farm. I don't care. I don't have time for that crap. Although occasionally a little bubble witch, I could go for that.
Bubble bitch.
No problem.
Yeah.
I can honestly say that I don't play any games on Facebook.
That's fine.
Whenever I see one of those requests, I'm like, are you kidding me? Have you ever seen me post anything about playing a game before? They're just going through and sending that request to everybody on their friends list.
Yes.
It's annoying.
I don't have time. I mean, do you guys have time? I know that Jason doesn't. Do not have time.
Oh, no. Yeah, Lord, no.
My life is hectic. My life is extremely fucking hectic. And Jody knows. Every time she messages me and wants to have a conversation with me, what do I say? I'm at work.
I'm at work.
Nothing.
I got to eat with my kids. I'm driving. I'll get back. I'll be home in 3 hours. I'll get back. And he does. I mean, he always gets back with me. But you're a very busy guy. And I mean, God, I'd rather be outside soaking up some sun than playing some freaking game on Facebook.
Yeah.
I agree. I prefer to play, beer pong outside.
Yeah. Topless.
Yeah.
What?
That's what I like to do kind of stuff.
You did it out loud.
Yes. Keep in mind, she was a Catholic girl.
Hey.
It hasn't left my mind since the beginning of the show.
Yeah, those Catholic girls were bad.
And what cotton candy?
Oh, no. Mm-mm. It had to be like
no black,
either no panties or black ruffle panties or red ruffle panties. I mean, otherwise, yeah, you know.
You keep that shit nicely trimmed? Or is it Brazilian?
There's nothing to trim. It's Brazilian, baby.
Yeah.
What trim? What? What? Did I say that? Oh, I'm going to get in trouble. I'm going to get in trouble.
And that's why people want to come on my show.
I have to build a whole new team or find a new team. You know, moving over to Louisiana, to the Baton Rouge area, all of my family's there, and all of my team members are in Georgia or South Florida. You know, from where I've had teams previously, and they will definitely, occasionally, some of them will come over to investigate someplace really cool, and we'll plan I like to plan a trip, and some of us will definitely go that can afford to go. But I have to either put a new team together, because I don't have one over there, or I need to join somebody else's team. So I'm a little sad about that. I don't know, what I'm going to do when I first get there, but oh my God, there's so much great history and plantations and haunted hotels and beautiful, beautiful cemeteries and, places to investigate over there. I can't wait to get back over there. It's going to be good times, but I've really got to, I got to find some new friends over there for sure.
Yeah. And do you know Dakota? The Paranormal Diva here actually agreed to doing a swimsuit photo shoot right there in the cemetery.
Awesome.
I'm going to lay right over Marie Laveau's gravestone. Mm-hmm.
That sounds like a good idea. Nothing but positive can come from that.
I'm going to get my ass to the gym. Shape up.
Oh, I love my job. Oh, dear.
So, Jody, do you know Dakota Lawrence?
I don't know Dakota. We are Facebook friends. I actually have Dakota on both of my Facebook pages, and he's been on there for a while. But I have to tell you that I did ask around about Dakota. I heard some very nice things about him. I heard that he, is very popular over there. This is a kid that's been supporting himself since he was like 16 years old. I think that people really enjoy his gallery readings from what I have heard. I will definitely check him out when I get over there. And I don't specialize in gallery readings. I really prefer to do one-on-one with people, and I often give them. Yeah, it's really personal. I need to sit with them for lunch. I need to hold their hands. I really need to have personal time. And I'm sure I could pick out some things doing a gallery reading, but it's just not the same. I know I could make money doing that, but it's not the same. I am going to host a couple of the Unholy Night seances in the haunted city of New Orleans closer to Halloween. I'm planning to do a couple of events over there. I've got the details still to sort of iron out, and I'll let you guys know. But that's going to be a lot of fun. And then afterwards, they can go take one of the tours in the French Quarter, and that's going to be it's going to be good times. But it'll be a smaller group, a smaller group than what we would do with a gallery reading like what Dakota's been doing. Mm-hmm. So I look forward to meeting him. It's very possible that we could plan an event together where we're both doing readings, and he does a gallery and I do. I specialize in seance. I've actually written a couple of articles that have been published about how to properly conduct a seance because people don't know. A few years back that were published in an online publication. So I'll have to post that on my page somewhere. But so do you guys, either one of you really know Dakota? Has he been on the show or?
Oh, I know Dakota real well.
Oh, you do? Okay, great. How do you know him?
We've actually investigated a few places together. We were actually at a haunted hospital in South Pittsburgh, Tennessee, and I actually got married there. It didn't work out, but but long story short, he was there at the same time. They were actually filming a show for MTV there, and we knew each other beforehand, but actually actually, that weekend was the weekend I was getting married there, and he actually was my ring bearer for the wedding. He wanted to be the flower girl. I'm just kidding.
Of course, I'm sure he did want to be the flower girl. That's okay.
But he and I go way back, and we've, anytime there's an event that we're both close to, we'll catch up and stuff like that. But yeah, he and I, we talk all the time. Most of the time on Facebook, but once in a while it'll be a phone call or a text message.
Yeah, I'll have to look up.
Probably a year or so, but yeah, definitely look him up. Tell him I sent. Tell him you know who I am.
Yeah. Absolutely. I'll have to hook up with you guys and go to an event sometime. And Dakota's going to be living maybe just a little bit more than an hour away from where I'm going to be living. So it's really not that far.
Oh.
We could definitely
Not at all. Meet in the middle of something and be close.
Absolutely. Or, plan some sort of event together at some point, after I get to know him. But honestly, I've heard nothing but nice things about him. I really have. So I look forward to meeting him.
Super guy.
Yeah. He'll be my new kid brother.
There you go. Yep.
Excellent. And we should try to get him on the show.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure he will.
I'll get him on the show. Absolutely. I will definitely take care of that. I think he would be a lot of fun to have on for sure.
Oh, yeah, you're a blast.
I'm still working on
pictures, no question.
I'm still working on getting us a voodoo priestess. I have somebody working on that. So that'll be really interesting. If we can get one on before Halloween, I think it would be really fascinating. I've never talked really. I know where there are.
Is Rosie Brown a voodoo priestess?
I don't know.
I'm trying to think.
I do not know.
He's going to be in New Orleans, so there's got to be one or two there.
Well, I know. Well, not to tell on myself, but I do. There is a store that I really like down there. That's not one of the tourist stores. That is called Voodoo Authentica. And I've actually gone there off and on over the years and, had them mix up, like a special pillow of herbs for me to put underneath my pillow when I'm sleeping and, a little mojo. I'm into picking up a little mojo for sure.
Yes, you are.
Yes, I am. Not that I've lost my mojo, because I haven't. I am.
I need to boost your mojo. That's a good thing.
I'm going to go in there and talk to them because they're the real deal and see if I can get somebody to come on. And they sort of know me in there.
That's how they like to describe it. All like the real voodoo priestess and shit, they like to remain extremely confidential and private. They don't like giving away any of their secrets or anything like that.
No. They don't. They don't give you tips on what to buy. No, I've actually had them where I told them what I wanted and what I wanted it for and maybe who I wanted it for. And then they will literally say, okay, well, why don't you come back tomorrow? Or they'll tell you need to come back in 3 days, and I'm going to get that ready for you. And they, they'll pray over it and put the herbs together, and it's pretty interesting. But I've actually had some good results with that sort of thing. So I think they're really good, and they're a little off the beaten path. Like I said, they're not real touristy. They're not selling T-shirts. It's not, they're not that. They're not that. No, they're really.
Right, they don't have a pricing sign out front.
No. You kind of have to know them. So, I'll check it out once I get over there. But we'll see who else my friend digs up. Also, it'll be interesting.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
So, you know who to call if you need me to run in there and get you something, for your mojo. I'll get it.
I have plenty of mojo, I think. I want to help me out.
No.
I've got you tracking, baby.
Mm-hmm. I know you have good mojo.
Dude, once you go jail, you never go away.
Oh.
Is that because I double? Is that because I double stuff?
Yeah.
That could definitely play into it. I'm taking some mental notes here. So.
Rick and I are going to be really good friends. I can tell. If he didn't talk to me a lot before, he will now.
That's right.
No.
Oh, yeah.
We are actually now down to the last 10 minutes of the show.
What? Okay.
Yeah, it's been an extreme
What time flies?
hours. And needless to say, we're down to the last 10 minutes. I like to try to ensure that everybody gives out their information and where they can get contacted and all the cool things that they're doing and what's coming up and how they like to do it and so forth and so on. So you might as well start with the guest of honor. And so please share with us where they can buy your book, any events you may have coming that you might want to promote real quick, any kind of other radio shows you're going to be on, anything that involves you.
All right. Well, let's see. Let's start out with the book. It's available at Amazon.com. Paper and Kindle. It's also available at CreateSpace, which most people don't have an account there. So I just tend to send people to Amazon.com. That's where they're most familiar. And as far as events coming up, the 23rd of August, for anybody who's local here, I'm in Southwest Indiana, but anybody who's local, the Evansville Barnes & Noble is having a book signing and a New Age seminar that day, August 23rd from 1:30 to 4. Theo Costaritas, he's our psychic medium with the team. He's going to be putting on a seminar. The whole team will be there. We'll be signing books. And Theo will be doing some readings. Actually, the girl that's on the cover of the book will actually be there as well, just for fun. And
Do they need tickets ahead of time to attend?
No. All they got to do is show up. Like I said, it's from 1:30 to 1:30 to 4 o'clock Central Standard Time. They can walk in at any time.
Good time. Should have fun.
Yeah, we should have plenty of books. And like I said, the seminar is going to be going on in the upstairs portion of Barnes & Noble. And so it should be a good time. And tomorrow night, I'm actually on another radio show.
Which one? Hey.
Well, I'll get flustered here. Let me pull this up. If I can. Take your time, man.
And everybody can find you also on Facebook, of course.
Yes, Facebook's probably the best way to get in touch with me. I also, you can get a hold of me through a Hotmail account, which is EVP, all capital letters, - Rick with a capital R. Kind of a funny story about that. I was putting together an account. I think it was a Twitter account way back in the day when Twitter first came out. And that was my screen name, was EVP Rick. And Jen on my team just happened to notice that to her it looked more like it spelled out EV Prick. And so I was kind of stuck with that, and I still get called that. Yeah, I know it's not a very flattering story, but it's a truth.
No. It is funny.
Yeah. So I am constantly. She's really the only one who calls me that all the time, but she calls me that all the time.
Yeah. What show are you going to be on tomorrow?
My dang computer logged me out.
Oh.
I know.
Well, can we check your Facebook page to find out?
Oh,
for people
yes,
who are listening?
definitely. It's on there. I just don't want to give anybody the wrong information. It's Night Watch Radio. Okay, it just popped into my head. It was one of those Alzheimer's moments that I couldn't remember. But yeah, I'm on Alzheimer's Radio. Yes, I'm on Night Watch Radio. Night Watch Radio tomorrow evening. I believe it's 10 p.m. Central Time. So for the late nighters who couldn't make it to this show, maybe they have to work past 6 o'clock or so, join me tomorrow night. We'll be going over some of the same stuff and probably some new stuff as well.
Okay. Very cool. But you're never going to be on another show like this one.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Well, you'll come back when you get the next book ready to go out. You'll come back and do your launch talk on our show for sure.
Oh, I'd love to.
Yeah.
It'd be fantastic.
All right, everybody, I'm going to give everybody the privilege of listening to the Paranormal Diva, Jody's sexy-ass voice for the next couple minutes while she gives out all of her great information.
If you want to find me, I am available on Twitter, Pinterest, and Instagram at Johauntz, Johauntz. You can also reach me on Facebook at Johauntz. Also at, it'll say Jody, Jodie, Johauntz Smith. Love to see you there. Come on by, add me as a friend, and of course you can always, we would love for you to come on by and like the Ghost Chat Radio fan page, where you can talk to Jason and also myself. Would love to see you there. And that's pretty much it. See, I've got that down to a science now. You can hear me right here on Ghost Chat Radio, Mondays and Tuesday nights, from 6 to 8 on Mondays and from 9 to 11 on Tuesdays right here on DTM Wicked Radio.
Excellent. And where can people contact you on Facebook, or where can they contact you?
Absolutely. If you want to, you can. If you really want to contact me, you can feel free to contact me at johauntz@gmail.com. That's easy.
And quick question for you guys. If someone maybe tuned in late to the show, where can they hear it again if they wanted to replay it?
It's available iHeartRadio, Podbean, Spreaker, Spreaker. It's pretty much everywhere, isn't it?
It's pretty much. If there's a place where you can listen to internet radio, it's on there probably.
Yeah, but we do need to note, I've had to tell people who couldn't find it, you must go on and put DTM Wicked Radio to find it. And then underneath DTM, you can pull up Ghost Chat Radio.
Yes. You have to put the network name in, considering they own the sites. The network is DTM Wicked Radio. I am a show on DTM Wicked Radio, so once you look up all the shows that DTM does, and DTM here has a lot of amazing shows, I'll try to everybody to, continue to listen to DTM. Like I said, they've got everything from, they have sex talk, they have weather, they have UFOs, they have, all kinds of cool shit here. Whatever your whatever the hell your demons are, put them on there. If you psychics, New Age, everything. It's got everything. DTM has a little bit of everything, and that's why I like it here, because of the diversity of what they do. They're just not sticking to one thing. They want to bring the general public, exactly what it is they like, and that's cool. That's what I love about it.
And I saw we even have food talk and wicked weather. That's everything. Yeah.
I think there's a guy that comes on Sunday nights that talk about hardcore bestiality. No, wait a minute. That's nothing to see.
Jason wants to do that show. Where can we find you, Jason? Of course, I know where to find you, but where can everyone else find you?
Oh, everyone can find me pretty much all over the internet. Primarily on Facebook. You can look me up. Just look up Jason Stanton. I'll pop up somewhere. You can also find me on LinkedIn. You can find me on Twitter. You can find me on, I don't even know what the hell social networks are called. But
yeah, I'm on LinkedIn too. Yeah.
All my networks are the social networks that I'm connected to are linked into Facebook. So, whatever I get, that's what I get. I get an email about it, and that's it. So, just go to Facebook. Definitely go to the Ghost Chat Radio fan page. Give that a like. Buy my book on Amazon called Unrest to Peace. My next book, Unfeeble Minds, I don't know when it's going to be released. I'm way behind on that, but I'm hoping that'll be released probably October, the way it's looking. So you're definitely going to want to check it out, too. And until tomorrow night, who do we have on tomorrow night?
Tomorrow night we have on Bill Dean, and he is going to be a really interesting, great guest. He is the spiritual warrior. He travels all around the country doing deliverance. I can't wait to hear about it.
Yeah, I love Bill. He's been on the show before in the past, a long time ago. I'm going back probably, last spring and shit,
Oh, so, wow.
Definitely going to be cool having him back on, and we get to discuss all kinds of cool stuff with him. Bill's a wonderful guy, so I can't wait. So,
I can't wait, yeah.
Excellent. Like I said, you've been a fantastic guest
Oh, well, thank you.
Thank you.
You're a wonderful
Thank you
host.
for
Well, thank you for having me.
I'm glad you put up with our crap for a whole 2 hours.
coming on. Yeah.
It was very entertaining.
Sometimes they dump us after the first hour, you know.
Oh no! You know, I had to stick around. I gotta stick around after the show's over so I can get Jody's personal information.
Yeah. I've got some. I should let you know that Jody typically does the show naked.
I do. Or I alert Jason right before the show what I'm wearing. So you can think about that.
That's right. And I wind up dripping all over my legs within 5 minutes.
You're going to get in trouble. You're going to get in trouble. Hi, Annette.
Well, anyway, until tomorrow night, everyone, at 9 o'clock, 9 p.m., 9 to 11 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on DTM Wicked Radio. You check us out again, the Paranormal Rebel and the Paranormal Diva, in one show. What better way to spend an evening of getting educated, laughing, having a good time. And that's all there is. So, till tomorrow night, everyone. See you all later.
Bye.
Bye.